Hey buddy, Thomas here. We're back in Mississippi now, but I've got to throw out a couple videos. I recorded probably about four videos. So the first one we putting out there, just because it's the easiest to edit, is cutting up of a black walnut mantle on the Timber King 1400 mill up in Tennessee. Now this mill, it's what I used to have down here in Mississippi, and I gave to my dad before I bought my 2000 mill back there. That also being said, I had to cut a mantle because the mantle that was already cut, I screwed it up. My dad wanted me to fix this mantle up and everything. Long story short, I cut it too short and it didn't fit in the house where he had to put it. So I had to go out and scrounge around in the woods, and you'll see at the intro of this video, we're scrounging around the woods, my son and I, and we find a black walnut log that has been down for years, and I can show you how you can turn an old, nasty black walnut log into a really nice mantle. So stay tuned, here we go, hope you enjoy, thanks. Okay, so Tommy and I are out here in the woods, and the goal was to find another downed black walnut tree. Now, he's not standing around downed black walnut trees, but I was able to find one. And this has been down for quite a while. But the good thing is this is exactly what I'm looking for, because I was actually helping my dad cut a mantle. And we looked at it. I think they say, was it measure twice, cut once? Well, really, I measured a whole lot and everything. The problem was I didn't look at the diagram well enough. I cut it a little bit short. So long story short, this is the piece that we're going to go ahead and do. And yes, like Tommy was saying, the outside of this is rotten. You can see, however, that core is still good. And this is actually the perfect size for making mantles. So I'm going to get some really nice stuff out of this. Even though this has been on the ground for years, black walnut's actually pretty bug resistant. So this is exactly what I'm looking for. It's of plenty of length, and should be pretty nice. Now, getting it out of here is another thing. We don't know what what path we're going to take. It's probably going to have to be something like there. You can see way in the distance is a field. I'll just have to figure out the best course of action, because our four-wheelers are actually way back over that way. I couldn't get over here because all these other downed trees. This obviously came down during a rainstorm a few years back, or a windstorm, excuse me. And I know there's a whole lot of black walnut on this ridge here. I'm like, well, based on all these trees that are down, there's got to be at least one. And literally, we came about to the end of this ridge. The end of the ridge is about right here. And sure enough, I did find one long enough here. So, yeah, it's been an exciting day thus far. We've been riding all over the property. I'll have to look and see. There may be another one further down that way. I see some other down trees, but we'll get to that. Also, I did find, it's hot as can be out here. I did find a few really good rubs on trees. And then I know there is a big deer work in this area. This ridge line right here is really hard to get to. And it's kind of like a little valley down there, if you want to call it that.
Big old raccoon right there.
Yeah.
Just climbed up the tree and gotten...
Well, there you go. There's a raccoon over there too. So I might set up a deer stand in memory of this black walnut tree right here. This is an area I've been wanting to hunt, but it's just really hard to get to. And it's hard to get into without being busted out by deer. So we'll see. All right. More to follow. We've got a lot of stuff going on. And it's just peaceful, relaxing. You hear that? It's called nature.
Let's see if that's a field.
No, that's the road over there. That's the road. That's a driveway way over there. But to get to the driveway, you got to go across a little creek crossing, which you can't get to. All right. We'll see you around. Thanks. Okay, so Tommy and I are out here. We've removed one section. Had to do a little exploratory, like cookie cut, to in fact make sure that this was black walnut, and it is. Tommy's climbing on this poplar tree right here, but we are skidding these out with the four-wheeler, the old Artic 250. This one right here may be a bit much for it, but we are going to give it the best go we can to try to see if we can pull it out. We broke that end free. I just hooked the chain here to kind of break it off the actual stump. Now I'm going to hook the chain up again and see if we can make our way out. We couldn't get the tractor over here. Well, we can, but we wouldn't be within like 100 foot of it or so. And I could put the winch on, the farming winch, but for one tree, I just don't see it being worth it. Again, this black walnut here is to fix the mistake that I made the other day whenever I was cutting a mantle. So I'm gonna be cutting this out of this one, and I may actually have to cut this one down to size a little bit here if I can't pull the total length that it is right now. So here we go. So I got the chain hooked up onto there now. Log 10 or 12 foot long, excuse me, 10 or 11 foot long black walnut. This little Arctic cat is the foiler that could. So here we go. Now I'm in super low gear. I actually was looking for an Arctic cat or an older Suzuki King Quad that has this 3-range gearbox, gear-on-gear transmission. Now the King Quad actually has that differential lock, which is real nice. But this is the foiler that could. For being 250 cc's, it's got a lot of power. Come on, baby, get up this hill. Now we gotta jerk it a little bit. You're right. Oops. It's kind of hard to do the brake and film at the same time. So here we go. A little jerk action. Oh yeah. Thread the needle. And pull it right out. And sorry about the camera work. Doing this all via one-handed. Show you how long I pulled out here already. But yeah, I actually was looking. This is a 2003 Arctic Cat 250. I don't really want a super fast, super powerful one because I actually like the nimbleness of this one. As you can see, ta-da! I now have 2 black walnut logs skidded out with this foiler. These logs are quite heavy right now because they are essentially waterlogged. And by doing so, let's see. Yeah, I've removed most of the soft bark around the outside. So there's 2 black walnut columns or mantles. Actually, this one's going to be turned into a mantle, but that should be plenty big enough for what I need to do. Awesome. All right, folks. So this will give you an idea of how steep of an angle we're working. I've got the camera right now about level. That's how steep we are pulling out these black walnuts. This will be the last section. I just trimmed the end a little bit, just a little bit ago. It's about 9.5, maybe 10 foot long. And then we'll be done with this one. In fact, I do see, you can't really tell on the camera, right in there, there is another tree down. I'll have to go down there in a second and figure out what that is, because it may be another big black walnut. It looks big, whatever it is. All right, here we go. Hey, buddy, Thomas here. So I think I'm going to compile this into another video. This is going to be kind of a throwback using my old sawmill that my dad now owns. This is a Timber King 1400 with a diesel. And this is the black walnut log that I was pulling out of the woods with the foiler. It's kind of gnarly and everything. However, once you get into the actual wood, you'll see at the heart it's still solid as can be. Now the sapwood here on the outside, yeah, that's got to go. You can see, I mean, you just push it away with your fingers. However, there is a mantle waiting for me inside here. So we're going to go ahead and continue. I actually got to flip this over. This is about as wide as I want to get on this side. So we're probably about 8 inches if you go from heartwood to heartwood. I want to get my top and bottom squared up first, and then we'll take the sides off. So that's going to be our mantle, probably top right there. On the bottom, it feels about the same and everything, but I'm going to take, I'm at, let's see, how many inches am I at? I think I'm at 7 inches right now, thick. I'm going to take that down to 6, look at that again, and take it down to 5, and then we'll see if I go 4.5. I got to figure out what size width we're going to, or thickness we're going to do. So here we go. All right, so what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna go ahead and turn this log over. I'm not gonna use the cant hook because it's actually small enough to turn it by hand. And I don't want to put a cant hook into the actual face of this. So here we go. All right, and again, we're gonna take off an inch, see what it looks like, and then take off another inch, and then we'll see if we have the correct width we're looking for. I think we will. I did two cuts because I could see that it didn't thin down in one location here. In fact, that's still pretty strong. Oh yeah, beautiful, beautiful wood. This will make a, yeah, that is going to be pretty. Yeah, very much so. So have you take a look right here. This is going to be a gorgeous looking mantle, and get a little bit of not quite pith there, but there is some interesting branch formation there. But yeah, this is going to be gorgeous. So now we got to get it on its side, and then we'll take the front face off and the back face off and kind of see what we're working with. The goal is to get as wide as possible, and my personal goal in this is about 8 inches wide. I think that'll be a pretty substantial mantle. Right now we are at 5 inches thick. We may take that down to 4, but we got to take a look. So we're going to go ahead and get this turned in the upright direction. So I'm going to move the log stops up, and then we'll kind of turn it up, and we'll use a little brace in front of the log stop here, or log dog, excuse me, and go from there. This will be your piece that you use. Yeah, just so we don't crush it into the actual base of it. Get it on the side here. I'm going to cape this on the back side for right now, in the downward direction, because it's flatter, straighter, all that good stuff. We'll get it exactly vertical. Mine wasn't vertical. Yeah, we'll go ahead and put that in there, and then I'll put it on the back side. Again, folks, this was just pulled out of the woods, and it had been sitting on the hillside for who knows how many years. It's just, you know, waiting to be found and used for something a little better. That looks pretty good right there. We look on the back side, it looks really great. I think it needs to rotate this way. Yeah, looks pretty good. It looks good? Yeah. I don't want to make it any better. Okay. Exhaust port was clogged up. Yeah, right here. Yeah. I can go a little bit more, or that could be on the back side.
No, I got to get the round edge off this.
Okay, so I'm going to go down like a ½ inch more. I'm going to be right at 8 inches then across the face. That's pretty good.
Do you have a tape measure?
I'm doing off the scale off of that, and my hand is 8 inches. might be able to save that for something. I don't know.
I agree.
All right, let's go ahead and, so it's at 5 inches thick right now.
I'd leave it.
You want to leave it that thick?
That way it won't move.
Okay.
It's a little bit smaller than the one that they had.
Yeah, but if I take off just a little bit, if I take off like
Let me go measure
a
that.
½ inch.
Let me go measure that up.
All right. Well, while he's doing that, I'm gonna think to myself here, or think out loud. We've got an 8x5 right now. 8" across the face is a pretty standard mantle. An 8x4 is standard. An 8x4.5, I think, would still look beefy. And if we got a 1/2" cut off of this, off the top of this, that would still allow for spoons and spatulas. It'd be a bit thin, but I can work with that because I in fact use 1" stock, make my template, cut it out, and then cut it in half on the bandsaw. So I'm thinking about taking this 1/2" off more. We'll see. And if we do that, I'm also going to throw on. I might throw on a new blade just to get a smooth, clean cut. I'm going to pause it real quick while we contemplate this. Come right back 1 second. Well, folks, we decided to leave it the way it was. We didn't want to take any more off because we wanted to make sure we had enough mass here and we didn't want to risk the chance of this moving. So the final dimensions of this were just a hair under 8" across the top and 4 and just over 3/4 in thickness. Length on this is 12'6". They actually only need an 8-foot piece. So what we're going to do is from here all the way to this line right here is 9 foot. We're going to cut it right there where they'll have 6 inches of play on either side. And then we're also going to give them this section right here, and they can make the little holders that actually hold the mantelpiece up underneath of it. They, the first one we did, again, I screwed up the cut on it because I wasn't looking at the diagram correctly. But this one is more than enough mantle now, and it's pretty beefy. I think they'll be very happy with this. And it's just a log that we found sitting around the property. And like I said, hopefully I throw all the other stuff into this where you can see the pulling out of all the logs. But it came out of this tree right here. And as you can see, yes, the exterior looks pretty horrible. And you've got chunks of nasty sapwood coming off. But that center piece, that heartwood there, is still good. Black walnut tends to do really well, even after prolonged ground exposure. As long as you're not trying to keep a live edge on everything. If you need to get mantles, beams, legs for a table, if you have any down black walnut that's been down for a while, chances are that heartwood's still good. So hope this has been fun, enjoyable, and it's a little throwback looking back at my old Timber King 1400. It's been a fantastic mill. My dad's been using the heck out of it, and his log pile was quite a bit larger than what it is now. I think he went through about 50 logs in the past month, mostly pine, but also some poplar and some oak, cutting up thousands and thousands of board foot for an individual down the road. But all in all, what a fantastic machine. Still just keeps trucking along with that little diesel on there. That Kubota 3-cylinder, it's got plenty of power and never even showed any signs of slowing down. All right, y'all, we'll see you around. Thanks.